Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we are going to be talking about Hedera and HBAR. So with that being said, let's just dive in and let's start off with Archaea. So we do see some network metrics from Hedera. We are now stabilizing above 1000 TPS, and we are nearing the 13 billion transaction mark. We just celebrated 12 billion transactions. It's absolutely wild on how fast these transactions are happening on the mainnet now. And again, I get it. With the price of HBAR, if you guys do want to go over that, you're more than welcome to go check out my last previous HBAR video, because I dive deep into it. But today we are going to be talking about the price of HBAR. We're going to be talking a little bit about the creator economy, and we're going to be talking about the big game changer that Hedera actually is. So with that being said, let's just dive into the Web3 applications and specifically the creator economy. In terms of the creator economy, there's some great applications already building on Hedera. One of them, Galaxy. You have Mingo as well, the Metaverse, Cloud.art. There's a few other ones here as well. I really do think that the creator economy is something that is extremely overlooked. I don't think that people really realize how big of a game changer this is, especially in the world of Web3. Currently speaking in Web2, the creator economy is completely controlled by centralized corporation companies like Google, Twitch, I mean, you name it, right? And the problem with this is that you have creators that are creating content or streamers that are streaming, and some of these platforms are taking 50%, 60%, all the way up to about 75% of the profits. And although you might look at a few of these things like, oh, well, it's so easy to become a creator, I'll just create content tomorrow and be successful. There's a lot of work that goes into it, especially on some of these streamers that are streaming 24/7. So to look at some of these platforms and have the cuts that some of these platforms have, it's wild, which is also another big thing on why the creator economy is going to be a big boom on Web3, and why I do think that the Web3 world will be much larger than Web2 and actually overshadow it. Now, in terms of the creator economy, the reason why I do focus on Galaxy quite a bit is not only because Galaxy, like, listen, I've been working with Solo for a while on a few things around Galaxy, and I think that Galaxy is going to be a very, very exciting platform. I also think that's going to be an exciting app, and it's also going to be definitely, in my opinion, disruptive to the creator economy itself. First off, over here, going back to June 6th, we do see Galaxy app is the first social media dApp built on Hedera, revolutionizing the creator economy. We are excited to be partnering with them and sharing what they've built with everyone in Austin at Consensus 2022. From what I've seen and from what I've tested, because I've actually tested Galaxy from Solo, which shout out to Solo. From what I've seen and from what I was actually looking at with Galaxy, it looks like next gen social media. That's what it looks like to me. It encompasses what Web3 will be, and ultimately speaking, I think that it could be very successful. Also, Galaxy did get a $26 million raise to revolutionize the creator economy. And of course, like, this is something that I've been watching for so long. In terms of Galaxy and when it goes live, they are still building out a few things with it, but I'm still very excited about this. Obviously, going to take some time, but I do think that the Web3 world is going to be very, very large. We've talked about how much it could be worth at some point in time. And I think that Web3 is actually going to open the door for a $100 trillion market cap for crypto. I also think that's going to be very, very large in terms of what Web 2.0 was. And I've also talked about that report, with M13 comparing Web 1 to Web 2 to Web 3. And Web 3, if we are following the same trajectory as Web 1 to Web 2, well, then guess what? Web 3 will have a market cap well in the hundreds of trillions of dollars. Now, also, with that in mind, Cloud.art. This is also another big one that migrated from Polygon actually to Hedera, introducing social media NFTs to the creator economy. Another game changer. Like, honestly, as like we look at a lot of these things in the past, like this was all from 2022. Mind you, most people don't even care about this type of stuff. And it's wild to me because, again, like, Hedera is becoming a pillar within the Web3 world. A lot of these use cases like Cloud.art are total gateways to the Web3 world for retail. It's the same way that when we looked at LG introducing NFTs to TVs through Hedera, I was like, dude, this is great. And the simple reason behind why that is great is because, I mean, how many individuals go and sit down with their family to watch a movie, to watch TV, right? Imagine how many LG TVs there are out there in, the homes of families. And now you have that complete bridge to the Web3 world through NFTs on an LG TV. That could immediately onboard the next, possible 100 million users. And again, Hedera would be exposed through that with LG. So this is why I do focus on this little economy being created here, which is, of course, the creator economy, but also even outside of the creator economy itself, there's going to be so much happening on Hedera around Web3 within finance and things like that as well to focus on. But also, remember that the HBAR Foundation did dedicate $250 million towards the metaverse development around NFTs, as well as, of course, the creator economy. I do think that this is something to continue to watch for, because you could tell that Hedera has been very adamant about building up their community and their ecosystem. And so far, this has been very successful. Even if we go back to the HBAR Foundation, we go to the ecosystem and we go to all of the funds, we could look at all of the projects that are tied to this through these funds. I mean, this is no joke. They've been expanding rapidly. And like I even said, if you go over to the HBAR Foundation's Twitter, you could scroll for days just through the partnerships this year alone. And even when you go back to Hedera's website and you look at the Web3 applications, even if you go to like just use cases and you go to Web3 dApps or even enterprise dApps, there is so many here. I mean, you could filter this out. There's 2 pages filled with use cases that, in my opinion, are going to be very large in the future. When we look at what's happening around a lot of these ecosystems as well, a big deal is, how can we bridge the real world to crypto? And it's through initiatives like Karate Combat as well. Karate Combat is a big game changer. And in fact, that already got exposed to Joe Rogan's podcast, the largest podcast out there. This is what I like to see, the gateways being created. And as we look at Hedera and a few of these other networks, they're the gatekeepers. They're the ones allowing this massive gateway to, like I said, possibly hundreds of millions of individuals out there. And, Karate Combat has been absolutely killing it. This has been a project that I've been watching for a while. Recently, they started to really kick up the social media presence, almost sitting at about 66,000 followers. This has been one to watch for. I think that their platform is very high quality. And again, it's also kind of right on par with what Galaxy's doing. Like, when we look at a few of these apps, like, this is what we want to see around this space. We want to see these gateways being created. And like I said, Karate Combat, they've been expanding pretty rapidly. And I've seen them come up on my timeline all day long. This has been a project that I've been fully focused on. You guys know me, I love UFC. And this is kind of like right on par with that. I think that this could be much larger than anything else out there in terms of the, combat scene. And they're absolutely killing the game. They're changing it as well. And like I said, I'm hyper focused on that use case as well. But there's so many of these projects that are built out and centered out on the creator economy, even Drop as well around payment services. And of course, Seiki. Seiki is also one that we've been focused on this channel because this has been, a project that's kind of right on par with Spotify. And this is changing the game for those artists out there that do want to get royalties. This is instant royalties on Seiki with Web3 technology. Seiki brings you the future of music. Artists receive instant, secure, and transparent royalties through Web3, giving higher and faster compensation. Spread the love with instant tips between users powered by the same secure process. Join the Seiki community and make every stream count. Again, another game changer around Hedera. And honestly, like, when we look at a few of these platforms, I know right now they might not look like much, but go look at how many users there are on Spotify monthly. Right? Now, think about how many users there will be on Seiki and artists coming over to Seiki. Like, it's going to be a game changer in the future because these artists, these creators, they're tired of getting 50% and upwards of 75% of, their profits taken by these corporate entities that are extremely greedy. So as we do look at this, like, yeah, it's a game changer. And also just recently, Jack Dorsey ousted Apple. So essentially, this app is removed now from the App Store for enabling tipping to everyone in the world without the need for a bank, payment card, or government permission. So it is a pretty big, it's something that's a problem around the App Store, especially with Apple. And I think that this problem stems from centralization. Centralization is probably one of the biggest killers of innovation in the Web 2.0 world. That's why I do think that Web 3 is going to be much larger than what anyone can anticipate. And even just recently, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Just talked about YouTube, pulling another one of his videos with former New York Post political reporter. And it's wild, right? Like, that's why Rumble is doing so good. It's why a lot of these platforms come out, and although you might think like, oh, well, nobody's going to kill YouTube. YouTube has been around for well over 2 decades now. The biggest problem around that is the fact that when you look at some of these platforms, they will be rivaled. And they're going to be rivaled by platforms that are not trying to take, 50, 75% of creators' revenue. And it's also going to be platforms that are not, pulling videos or, centralized app stores that are blocking apps now because of they're enabling, this feature, right? So yeah, it's a big problem. And I do think that this is why it will thrive on things like Hedera. Now, with that in mind, I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about prices with HBAR. So for the longest time, I've been talking about $3 to $6. As we do look at $6, this is about almost $200 billion market cap. But I will say this, I do believe that $3 is possible. I think that this is kind of right on par with a lot of the other projects out there like Dogecoin and ADA that hit well over, $90 billion in market cap. But just to be on the safe side of things, I do think that $1.50, which is right around like $47.6 billion market cap, is pretty convenient. I think that this is a 30x opportunity run. I think that this is something that is a conservative price target as well, and right up to about like $2.50 as well, because this is like right around $80 billion. It's under the $90 billion market cap area that a lot of altcoins did hit around during 2021. With how much money people are projecting that could come over to crypto, which we don't know how much will actually come over to crypto. I do think that some of these valuations are not too bad. I don't think that they're too unrealistic. Of course, we have to be patient, wait and see. And you also have to stack HBAR as if it's only going to 50 cents. And I say that in a way that, if it does go way past 50 cents, guess what? You already prepared for it. In my opinion, $1 for HBAR will happen. It's not a matter of, if it will happen, it's a matter of when it will happen. I could predict prices all day long, but to me personally, like, we don't know when these prices are going to happen. So we need to be sure that we are, sitting back, being patient, stacking as if it's only going to 50 cents. That way, when it does go to $1 or $1.50 or $2 or $2.50 or even $3 and the higher targets up there, we are prepared. Again, we have to wait and see. Token dilution definitely was a little bit rough on HBAR. If we go off of the max supply at $1, hey, it's a $50 billion market cap. At $2, it's a $100 billion market cap. At $3, it's $150 billion in market cap. Meaning, in my opinion, as we do look at the future around the space, yeah, I do think that $3 will happen. Again, it's a matter of when, not if. It's the same thing with like Ethereum, right? If we compare this thing to Ethereum, in my opinion, yeah, this will happen, right? And this is almost a $5 HBAR. I do believe that this will happen at some point in time. Again, the question is when, right? So with that being said, I am preparing my bags for the short term, the midterm, and the long term, meaning I will have a portion of HBAR that I sell short term at, shorter targets, and then mid and then long term. And I think that this is probably the safest way to look at things, especially with how cheap some of these altcoins are. We've seen HBAR come down all the way to almost like, 3.5 cents, 4 cents, which was a great opportunity. And I do think that long term, it will be looked back on as an incredible opportunity financially. And I think that that's how the future is going to look with HBAR and a lot of these tokens, because we know that this market is going well past $3 trillion on the next major run up because of how much money could possibly flow in, especially with these ETFs and things like that everyone's projecting. We have to wait and see, but I'm very bullish on crypto long term. Same with, you know, the Web3 economy. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. So that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night. Wherever you guys are on this big world, it's been Nick. Peace out, guys.